He's very insecure, Oscar. You know, he can't really take anything back, so he can slag me off for years on.
Oscar De La Hoya and Eddie Hearn have clashed on a live session over a controversial matter. As usual, Oscar sparked the fire by trolling Eddie Hearn, and the Brit fired back at him without hesitation.
Because what's that promoter that doesn't know has no clue what to do in the US?
The race for Shakur Stevenson's signature has not only caused a stir among boxing fans, but it has also created a renewed rift between two of boxing's biggest promoters.
Shakur Stevenson, you're a free agent.
Once Shakur Stevenson saw out his contract with Bob Arum's Top Rank, he was repeatedly wooed by Oscar De La Hoya and Eddie Hearn in a bid to get him signed to their respective promotional teams.
You're a great fighter, great talent, but not for me. I believe that...
From the look of things, Shakur seemed more interested in joining Eddie Hearn's Matchroom boxing promotions than Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy promotions. And this led to a beef between Shakur Stevenson and Oscar De La Hoya, such that the pair kept exchanging words on social media last week.
Now, there's a lot of rumors going on that the Saudis are going to take over boxing and buy out every single promoter.
And once Oscar De La Hoya was done with Shakur Stevenson, he soon moved to his preferred promoter, Eddie Hearn. The two top promoters clashed on a live session after Oscar De La Hoya recently began a Thursday series on his social media handles called Clapback Thursdays and trolled Shakur Stevenson.
Now, there's a lot of rumors going on that the Saudis are going to take over boxing.
Announcing that I'll be starting a personal video series titled Clapback Thursdays, where I select the dumbest, lowest level insults people hurl at me, and I will respond with my own comments via video. Let's go! De La Hoya then stated that he cannot promote Stevenson, saying this: "Great fighter, but not for me. I believe that when somebody says they're not fighting for the public, I cannot promote them."
When somebody says you're not fighting for the public, I cannot promote.
The 27-year-old responded with this: "He's mad because he found out I'm not signing with him. It's okay, you'll get over it." This led to a clapback from Eddie Hearn, and they both jumped on a live session. "You have the worst stable in boxing, and I'm a deal with y'all. You attract the worst, I attract the best," Oscar De La Hoya said.
Someone asked me about his behaviour around Ryan Garcia, and I just gave him my opinion, and he threw his toys out the front.
Eddie Hearn quickly responded, "You could do a 5 versus 5, your best versus mine. You should mind your business and stop cheating boxers," Hearn said as he angrily left the live session.
No, I don't think I don't think that happens. Last time I heard, Haney was a free agent.
And if anything at all, we'd be expecting more shots to be fired by De La Hoya, seeing Thursday's just a few days away. And while the paperwork isn't totally done, the statements of Eddie Hearn and Shakur Stevenson towards each other have pointed to a likely partnership between the British promoter and the world champion.
I'm telling you right now, this is exclusive. William Cepeda will fight Shakur Stevenson.
Hearn, according to Stevenson, is one of the best promoters in the game. The Matchroom chairman laid out a 3-fight plan for Stevenson when speaking to Fight Hub TV. It included Cepeda, a move to 140 pounds to box Liam Pero before a co-promotion with PBC for a Stevenson versus Tank Davis super fight. Hearn was asked about the possibility of signing Shakur and said, "Listen, he's going to talk to everyone like he should. We're going to meet with Shakur and his team next week. We're going to have a sensible conversation. It's got to work for everybody. He's in a great position. He's probably one of the most talked about fighters in the world." Hearn continued, "I think he's going to enjoy the process. I know he's coming to the meeting on Monday, and I know he's going to enjoy learning about the business a little bit as well, and understanding the right moves to make." He added, "The key for him is to be able to make the big fights. I think that's the most important thing." Shakur was then asked why he would like to sign with Hearn and Matchroom Boxing.
Honestly, I've been saying this. I done said this in multiple interviews. I done said this everywhere. I feel like Eddie Hearn is one of the best promoters in the game. I love the way that he do his job. And I would definitely love to be a part of the stable, but I definitely am going to talk to everybody else and see what's the best available option. But for sure, I think he's one of the best in the game.
I feel like Eddie Hearn is one of the best promoters in the game. I love the way that he does his job. I would definitely love to be a part of the stable, but I definitely am going to talk to everybody else and see what's the best available option, but for sure, I think he's one of the best in the game. When asked if there was a 3-fight deal he could make with Eddie Hearn, who would he like to face?
I like Zepeda. If we can't get Zepeda, I think Kambosa's been talking a lot on Twitter today, and I would love to set up a fight in Australia and make him 0-4 down there. But Tank, Lomachenko, whoever we could get in the ring, that's the biggest and best fights.
I like Zepeda. If we can't get Zepeda, I think Kambosos has been talking a lot on Twitter. I would love to set up a fight in Australia and make him 0-4 down there. Him, Tank, Lomachenko, whoever we can get in the ring, that's the biggest and best fighters. Hearn added, he's a great fighter. I'm a great promoter. I believe we are a match made in heaven.
He's a great fighter. I'm a great promoter. I believe we are a match made in heaven.
Stevenson added, with the energy that he has, I'm definitely going to be able to give my best performances and be able to show out. I love the energy at Matchroom. Promotion-wise, Eddie Hearn is a better promoter than Top Rank, Stevenson recently said on Cigar Talk, indicating a possible preference. Out of all the available options, he promotes the fighters. I respect what he does, he finished, because he does his job. Whether or not Oscar De La Hoya is building up for a US version of the 5 versus 5 tournament that Eddie Hearn lined up for June 1st in Saudi Arabia with rival British promoter Frank Warren, the gloves are off because of Hearn taking the lead role in the stacked AUG 3 cards in Los Angeles.
America.
Internationally and in Europe, and he's done great.
No promoter is coming into my territory and thinking they can take over my sport, De La Hoya posted on X recently. This is war. This is aimed toward a person who doesn't know Shastrisk tea about boxing. De La Hoya would later urge, Eddie, for the sake of British boxing, just stay in the UK and promote. Leave real promoters in the US market, where boxing really matters. You had your chance, wasting hundreds of millions of dollars building nothing in America. Hearn has been tabbed by boxing's new power broker, Turki Al-Sheikh, chairman of Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority, to direct the loaded card coming to 22,000-seat BMO Stadium in Los Angeles.
Nobody gets in the way of what I'm doing, of how I promote. There's a reason why I've...
Headlined by the WBA junior middleweight title bout between 3-division champion Terrence Crawford and 154-pound champion Israel Madrimov, the card also features De La Hoya fighter Virgil Ortiz Jr. against former junior middleweight champion Tim Tszyu, 140-pound champion Isaac Pitbull Cruz in his first title defense versus Jose El Rayo Valenzuela, former heavyweight champion Andy Ruiz Jr. versus Jarrell Big Baby Miller, along with the light heavyweight debut of unbeaten David Morrell, and a lightweight fight featuring Cuba's 2-time Olympic gold medalist Andy Cruz. Hearn has gone as far as saying it's the best card ever staged in America, and he mocked De La Hoya's position.
Promoted the Canelos, the Errol Spences, the Browns Bombers.
Oscar De La Hoya, for real. Are you okay? Hearn responded on social media. You're stalking me like a crazy fan. You got a great win Ryan Garcia over Devin Haney on Saturday, but I consume your mind 24/7. Unfortunately for you, I'm a global promoter with 18 world champions. You have 4. I have big plans to work with everyone to grow the sport globally and have fantastic talent in the US market. I really wish you all the best and hope you can enjoy what you do. The feuding occurs even as both De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions and Hearn's Matchroom Boxing have streaming deals with DAZN. Eddie Hearn and Oscar De La Hoya have a long history of back and forth. Once Eddie Hearn hit back at Oscar De La Hoya after the former world champion told the British promoter to stay in the UK and leave the US boxing scene to the real promoters.
To be honest with you, because his job is to put on good fights for DAZN, and he hasn't really done that with Jaime Munguia, has he?
Eddie Hearn has hit back at Oscar De La Hoya after the latter attempted to intimidate the British boxing promoter out of the US market. De La Hoya, a former world champion, was labeled a crazed stalker as their feud reignited following Ryan Garcia's impressive victory over long-term rival Devin Haney. De La Hoya, 51, who has been instrumental in promoting Garcia throughout his career, was in Garcia's corner during the fight. On the other hand, Hearn was supporting WBC lightweight champion Haney as part of his ongoing efforts to make a mark on the US boxing scene. At the time, Haney seemed to be keen on a rematch with Garcia, who currently leads their rivalry 4-3, with bouts dating back to their amateur days.
Boxing, Jaime Munguia. His opponent list has been awful, other than Derevenchenko recently, who I know is your friend. But
Garcia, however, was looking to move up a weight division. Before his ban, the 25-year-old was eager to challenge Sebastian Fundora or arrange a rematch to redeem his only professional career loss to Gervonta Davis. While Hearn was likely to spearhead Haney's bid for a rematch with Garcia, De La Hoya has warned the Brit to stay away from the US boxing scene. Good luck with Eddie, but there will not be a rematch, De La Hoya told Haney on social media. Good luck in your career and good luck with Eddie, a European promoter trying to make it in the US.
There's a reason why I promote Ryan Garcia. There's a reason why I have Vergil Ortiz.
Oscar De La Hoya hit out at Hearn, calling him not a real promoter. De La Hoya fired back at Eddie Hearn, saying, "Eddie, for the sake of British boxing, just stay in the UK and promote. Leave the real promoters to the US market where boxing matters. You had your opportunity wasting away hundreds of millions of dollars building nothing in the US." Eddie Hearn blowing a big load of other people's money and showing nothing for it is ludicrous, De La Hoya tweeted recently. You think you can just come here and poach our fighters? Who have you built? You're a joke. Go back promoting darts. At least Leonard Ellerbe and Bob Arum know what they are doing. Hearn didn't take this lying down, branding De La Hoya a crazed fan and a stalker.
Best talent in America, and that's why it's called Golden Boy Promotions.
Genuinely, are you okay? You stalk me like a crazed fan. You had a great win on Saturday, yet I consume your mind 24/7, Hearn retorted. Unfortunately for you, I am a global promoter with 18 world champions. You have 4. I have big plans to work with everyone to grow the sport globally and have some fantastic talent in the US market. Genuinely wish you all the best and hope you can enjoy what you do.
yeah, I mean, we done a head-to-head round a table. We couldn't have been nicer. Loves me, wants to work with me, and then he's like, I don't know, it's really weird. Like, and he wasn't just commenting on my picture. It was like loads of other any picture that I was in. There was one on like Vadim Kornilov.
In an interview later on, Hearn suggested he was starting to become disturbed by De La Hoya's recent behavior, likening the promoter to a deranged stalker. With the Oscar stuff, I did get warned when all this stuff started, Hearn told IFL TV. A lot of people said to me, Eddie, when you do become a superstar, you are going to get these fanatics, these fans that just stalk you and become obsessive. I don't know in America how it works with restraining orders and stuff like that. Now, with Oscar, I'm starting to get a little bit fearful in terms of my own safety, in terms of that fanaticism for him.
Like about Madrimov going, why is Eddie Hearn involved with this fight? It's like, he's my fighter. I mean, but listen, it's flattering, really. It really is, because obviously if you didn't think I was a threat, why would you even talk about me? So I don't know what it is about me he particularly dislikes.
Stalker's a strong word, but I think he's stalking me. He's got fights to promote that he's not even talking about, and literally you open up every day and there's a new tweet and he's trying to @ Leonard Ellerbe and Bob Arum, who both think he's a plonker anyway. I didn't sign up for this. I just wanted to be a boxing promoter and make great fights. I didn't sign up to have these crazy fans, like Oscar De La Hoya, chasing me around the world, stalking me, thinking about me all the time.
But I really don't have any emotion towards Oscar De La Hoya. I think the guy, he's one of the greatest fighters of all time. He's just a little bit obsessed.
Hearn, who has floated the prospect of working with De La Hoya on a super middleweight bout featuring Hearn's client Edgar Berlanga, and De La Hoya's charge Jaime Munguia, went so far as to say that he thinks De La Hoya might be harboring a secret obsession. I don't know what he's got in the house, but there is potential. I think someone needs to go around the house and see if there's posters, Eddie Hearn t-shirts, I don't know, like videos playing throughout the day, Hearn said.
At Madrimov going, why is Eddie Hearn involved with this fight? It's like, he's my fighter. I mean, but listen, it's flattering, really. It really.
You can imagine he's got all those plasmas around. What I'm fearful of is walking into Oscar De La Hoya's house and there's 5 or 6 interviews paying simultaneously. I don't know what he's doing. It's just scary. I want people to watch this interview. This is the kind of interview that gets played back when something bad happens. I warned you all about this guy because this happens in this celebrity world when you get these crazed fans. I think someone needs to talk to Oscar because I'm concerned about my safety.
It is, because obviously if you didn't think I was a threat, why would you even talk about me? So
De La Hoya's fiery outbursts are not uncommon, leading to public feuds with Hearn and even his own fighter Garcia. King Rai expressed his frustration at being left alone by his team at the post-fight press conference after his loss to Davis in 2023.
Was Oscar De La Hoya. So I'm just hoping when I get into the office on Monday, I haven't got a letter from Stan, aka Oscar De La Hoya. But I think he's doing really well. Like I've never actually said a bad word about him.
De La Hoya responded, "What the hell, Ryan Garcia? It's been almost 2 months and you're still crying about the post-presser? The blame for your loss is on you and your advisor, Lupe Valencia." De La Hoya retorted, "He is the only one who pushed you to accept that insane rehydration clause, and that is the reason you lost. Man up. Own that. Also, you keep saying Tank's team offered more support for you, blah, blah, blah. Bro, they set you up to lose with that rehydration clause, and most importantly, Al Heyman, Davis's manager, didn't even show up the entire week. Actually, he never shows up. How's that for support?"
Not knowing what they're doing by putting me in there with Dimitri.
Obviously, we don't make decisions about who Canelo fights, but everybody thought that Canelo Alvarez would beat Dimitri Bivol.
However, the both appeared to have squashed their beef after promoters Eddie Hearn and Oscar De La Hoya then met to talk about the state of the sport and discuss key talking points. In times through the past, they have been rivals, but they got on the same page on DAZN for an interview with Chris Mannix. DAZN broadcasts fights from both stables, De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions and Hearn's Matchroom, and Hearn said that promoters in the sport should be working together more closely.
Concept. I love it. Promoter against promoter. The only issue I had was that Eddie Hearn didn't have the deep enough roster.
The sharing of fights, as we've seen lately with ESPN and DAZN, makes it that much easier, Hearn said, of broadcasters also coming uniting. There should be no barriers, particularly with us on the same network. I do feel in boxing now, with the opening up of the platforms, it is easier to make fights, but it's all down to personal relationships. When there is peace, I think it's good for the sport.
To go up against Frank Warren, who's been in the business forever.
Talking about the start of their relationship, De La Hoya admitted, "I did come out swinging in the beginning, but he agreed with Hearn's sentiments. The fight has to make sense, and I've been promoting now for 22 years, and the reason why we've been successful is because we make the right fights. The right fights at the right time," De La Hoya said. "And if Eddie has fights or fighters that make sense to us with Golden Boy, then we are open to making these happen on DAZN. We share the same platform, we should be working together more often, we should be the leaders of boxing and show the world that we want to make the great fights for the fans."
You know, obviously it just goes to show you the talent pool that Eddie Hearn has. I mean, that's why he went 0-5, I think it was.
Hearn said it was about trying to build the sport, and that companies working together would help everything else grow. He also referred to his recent working relationship with Frank Warren, inspired by the two coming together to stage bills in Saudi Arabia. "We're trying to build the profile of everything, the profile of our fighters, the profile of DAZN, my profile, and when I've got someone like Oscar having a pop at me, I never mind that," Hearn continued. "It's actually positive in a way, as long as we can understand it's a game."
I love it. I think that, look, if Turkey wants to do 10 against 10.
If myself and Frank Warren can make a card, and it was done with His Excellency and the power and financial power of Saudi Arabia, once we broke bread, as we said, actually, it's quite enjoyable. There's almost a feeling between us and Queensberry as if, why didn't we do this earlier? De La Hoya felt boxing's top stars did want to fight each other, but that it was down to those out of the ring to unite to clear the obstacles. Platforms have to come together. Promoters have to come together. Fighters are willing to fight each other, said the Hall of Famer.
I can go up against, whoever, Frank Warren, I don't know, but he promotes heavyweights. But I'm all for it. I love the concept. Keep on doing what you're doing, Turkey.
That's the message we send as promoters. Fighters are willing to fight each other. Let's just come together and make this happen. Then, asked by Mannix what the biggest changes De La Hoya has seen during his time in the sport, dating back since before winning gold at the Barcelona Olympics in 1992, De La Hoya said, "The problem is the biggest fights are not getting made. We have to come together. That's the bottom line."
Sure, something's gone on that he wasn't very happy about.
When it comes to the conversation regarding David Benavidez, he said that, look, if that fight's going to happen, it's a lose-lose for him because he dictates the shots, and his shots, one of the shots that he wants is maybe a rehydration clause, but he feels they wouldn't get the credit if he put that in.
I understand that. Like, basically what he means by that is, it's the same thing about doing Bivol at 168.
Fighters want to fight each other. They're thinking more about the money, more about the bottom line, which makes it a little more difficult because sometimes they don't understand the economics of the actual fight. They have all these whispers in their ears from friends, advisors, and managers, etc. So it's really difficult for a promoter or a network to make a fight happen. But over the years, I've noticed now that I've worked with Al Heyman, Eddie Hearn, and Bob Arum, all the promoters out there, and when you work together, it's like having various platforms promoting a pay-per-view. There's more numbers, more pay-per-view buys. It can only get better for the fighters and for the actual sport. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.